saw Daehyun do it. I had to do it. I'm sorry, I broke the fourth wall.
To start every cast like that, both of us fist pumping. Oh, man. Well, guys, welcome back to the tournament with the shortest breaks ever.
We are flying through this Star League. We're on a Jin Air flight, man. Destination, the final best of 3.
We'll make it there very fast. Although both of the first 2 series were 2-1. So we'll see if that trend does continue. Third one of the night is going to be Maru versus aLive. You kind of said this was the marquee matchup, the one you were most excited for.
Yeah, in Legacy of the Void, they're 3-3, and if you look at it, it says aLive's ahead versus Maru. Why? How could this be? Well, aLive didn't play in a lot of Pro League, obviously, so that's part of the reason. And some of the times they faced each other was when Maru was basically a child.
Wings of Liberty?
Yeah, Wings of Liberty on Prime, you know, and so lifetime records he's ahead, but
back in the day joints, man.
Now aLive is better than he even was back then, so is Maru, so that's what makes the matchup exciting. This one, I feel like, is going to get a bit crazy, because SOS has just been showing us a little bit of everything in this tournament so far.
He's like the more polished version of what Zest is trying to show us. Like, go back and watch Game 2 of him versus Patience. I don't know why I couldn't remember who he faced. That was just happening before. But that was just like some insanity that was going on. 5th and final best of 3 of the night is going to be Stats versus Dark. Another PVC here. Should be a pretty good matchup.
A rematch of the 2016 Season 1 Grand Finals as well of Star League. So look for this one. This is going to be a good one.
Look at that versus Protoss matchup for Dark in SSL. 26-9.
Yeah. Now, Stats did just win a PVZ Finals as well in the GSL against Sue. Although I feel like, you know, outside of the GSL, Dark was performing better. He had that misstep at the GSL Super Tournament, of course, where he was knocked out by aLive early, but he wasn't aLive tore through that tournament. So let's talk about this matchup, because this is my favorite of the evening. Maru, 2-5. Now, he did lose 0-2 to Stats on day 1, or rather day 2, I believe it was, but that was right after Stats had come off the high off of that GSL win. He got destroyed there, but the real talk here is people are saying, oh, Maru's still one of the best Terrans. He has to prove it here. He didn't do incredibly well in the GSL, getting knocked out by Ryung, if I'm not mistaken. Very poor performance in Kespa Cup, and being 2-5 here in this tournament, you can call him one of the best Terrans for a long time. Yes, he's still in Premier, you know, had that decent GSL run, but you know, you might have to start pointing towards Ryung being a better Terran player. You might have to he might have to actually drop down the list if he can't continue to perform here. Whereas aLive is raising up the list. He's only 2-5 in SSL, but 2 of those losses are from his forfeit. And he nearly won the GSL Super Tournament, almost having a flawless run to the finals. He's on fire right now, and I think he's the favorite going to this. You have to say. Yeah. He beat Innovation 3-0 as well in the Super Tournament in TVT.
Yeah, I would have to favor aLive coming into this one. He's looking super strong. He was looking good at the beginning of Legacy of the Void, but he didn't have any big wins. I feel like that second place over at the Super Tournament is his biggest win in a while. And it was a pretty close series, even though Hero was able to take that one. He was definitely fighting, and all the games before that, as you said, were very, very close. He was able to take them all down pretty easily. So, Maru versus aLive here. Maru has always been pretty good in TVT, but aLive looking a little bit better.
I remember Maru won a Star League off his TVT. He had some incredible TVTs in the mirror matchups that you often see in Pro League as well. Genera defending Pro League champions, perhaps the last Pro League champions we'll ever see. But here are our maps: Abyssal, Daybreak, and Newkirk. We're going to get into it right now, guys. Tell your friends to get in this stream. And we're going to jump into game number 1, Maru versus aLive.
Maru, 조성주. aLive, 한희석.
Fly better fly, Jin as we come into series number 3. Down here on the bottom right, it is Maru, the red Terran for this matchup.
And his opponent to the top left in blue, it is aLive, GSL Super Tournament finalist. Referee was a little bit sleepy though.
Ooh. I'm not oohing about that referee, I'm oohing about this.
Seeing it. double proxy here from aLive. Probably not what Maru will expect. In fact, it's going to be a gas first from him, which is pretty meta, and on this map you feel a little bit more comfortable doing so. It's very proxy, like it's right outside the natural here. So this is going to be very powerful. And if Maru just stays on this one barracks and doesn't scout, he may just simply be build order def lost in this first game. All right, 2 barracks right on the outside is going to be Reapers. And Maru has this barracks at the top of the ramp. So he's going to have that, ability to kind of tight wall defend behind it, but it's going to be tough. Double gas obviously required for this much commitment to Reapers. So aLive's going to start that. He's going to have his first Reaper starting up here. Look at the timing. Right when his barracks finishes, he's almost immediately able to make it. Look at that. One more second of gas and
there
boom.
It is.
Great timing here.
This is going to have to be a very, very strong, almost perfect hold from Maru.
He checks.
He's going down here to make a CC. He doesn't scout at all. He's going for his own Reaper, and he's going to rely on that to scout, but aLive's Reaper is going to come out first, and the second one is going to be in his base right after.
If he pools Reapers too and comes in with 2 Reapers and 2 SCVs, I mean, he could just straight win the game right there. The factory obviously is something that will eventually come out and allow him better defense. He's going to pull the Reapers. This is smart. When you don't get scouted, it's really nice to do this because your opponent doesn't know what's going on. Then suddenly, not only just a quick Reaper, but it's a quick 2 Reapers, then a quick 3.
He doesn't scout at all. He doesn't even go down his ramp. If he went down his ramp, he could start something like a bunker, or he could lift his CC, cancel it, something like that. But here we go. 2 SCVs, 2 Reapers coming on up, and they're going to kill the first Reaper of Maru.
Oh man, the cancel immediately there on that reactor. He needs build time here. The factory's not dead. This just may be a straight win here for aLive. SCV's coming in here to try to micro. Here comes that 3rd Reaper as well. aLive, all he has to do is kite these SCVs for the time being. He gets surrounded though, just barely weaves his way out. Needs to kill that Marine. Okay, he gets out, he's gonna regen. The Cyclone is on the way.
Cyclone, so important for holding this push. The 2 SCVs getting to work on that one supply depot that was actually finished. aLive was not able to deny that. All the Reapers still alive here.
So much lost mining time with these SCVs, and all he has to do is kill the Marines until that Cyclone comes out. He's killing so many here, and he's not done yet. Does lose high ground vision here for a moment, but that depot will go down. The grenade even going to help finish it off here, and he's going to have 2 more Reapers. The Cyclone's out, but he can kill a few more SCVs here potentially. The Cyclone just does so much DPS so quickly. And he's going to just target down SCVs, looks like he can leave.
He's blocking it with the SCVs, trying to distract that Cyclone.
He's just targeting down the SCVs, dropping those grenades.
Actually, trading not badly against the Cyclone, who should normally take a fantastic trade against the Reapers. And there he goes, he backs off, he has a transition factory on the way, still producing 2 Reapers at a time.
Yeah,
Maru's stuck in his base.
That's the critical thing here, is that he has a pretty decent transition. Oh, even going to sneak in here and look for some more kills. A lot of these SCVs damaged from earlier, so the charges are doing a lot of damage. He's going to pick up 5 more and save the Reapers. And that's going to be a 10 SCV lead with a CC on the way. The question is, what can Maru do counter-wise here? It's going to be very difficult. It's a long rush distance. That's why aLive had to make this such an aggressive proxy to ensure its success. Oh, even going to use a line of sight blocker here to try to get a kill. Not successful, though.
Not going to work out, yeah.
Oh, doesn't even get it. That's nice. That's actually really important because aLive's moving across the map. Those Reapers being missing is going to be a big problem here. He's going to have only a Cyclone. How far long is that CC? It's 2/3. He's going to look to try to cancel it.
Reaper here, and currently the units of aLive are 2 mules and 26 SCVs. So
surprised Maru doesn't commit further there. The CC is going to finish as a result. He does send this Hellion up here. The Cyclone comes up just in time.
It's more of like a poking Hellion coming on in. He just wants to see exactly where aLive is and how far behind he is.
aLive with that safety Liberator, and back at home Maru gets up a Viking, building another Cyclone. Again, he's 10 workers behind on the dot, but once this orbital finishes, he's going to have double SCV production. The big question is, does Maru even make a CC? Is he going to try to do some big push with these Cyclones he's making? He's so significantly behind that it's tough to find the right answer. Starts a Tech Lab. Can you check what that's on? Is that on the starport? Is he going to go Banshees here? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the starport. Could also be Ravens.
Ooh, these SCVs lining up a little bit here. The Liberator comes out, though. He kills 3. Well, the Cyclones are going to go down.
Oh, man. Maru just losing everything in the attack. And, well, if he was planning on going for another follow-up attack, he lost a big chunk of that. And here we go. Cloak Banshee's on the way. It's really just going all in with this. He needs to do an incredible amount of damage with that cloak.
Yeah, it's not going to be scouted, it seems, though. The Liberator somehow survives. Looks like Maru was looking elsewhere for just 1 second with that Viking and Cyclone. So the Cyclone the Liberator gets away. So no scouting. He starts that CC. So he will have something to fall back on, but the first step is the Banshee. aLive doesn't have an eBay, if I'm not mistaken. But, oh no, he does. He just started +1, so he has that. Doesn't have any turrets, but as I say, he starts 2. So he's going to have the answer here. He has all these barracks powered up, and he's even going to use these Cyclones to do a little bit of a poking run. Oh, scouts the Banshee, gets the lock on. He predicted this. No cloak, by the way. He may just get this. No repair either. The scan to secure the kill. Repair too late. Nicely done by aLive. That was a pretty impressive play. Now he's going to 2-1 this Cyclone, and this looks to be the beginning of the end here, Valdez.
Yeah, the double team coming on in, denies the CC, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Maru just taps out from here.
He does. GG.
There it is. aLive takes a very convincing game number 1 with a nice proxy.
You know, you can't really fault Maru too much for that game. The big issue was not scouting. aLive with an incredible risk with a double proxy that close there. If he gets scouted and gets shut down, he loses all his barracks time. He can't hold on to his CC. You know, I was being critical of Maru perhaps not being as aggressive as he could have been to shut down the CC, but that the Cycle came out exactly at the right time. Then he had the Liberator, so Maru saved his units. Once he lost that many SCVs, so the game was almost essentially over at that moment. So aLive steals one away here with a really technical, smart build. Really aggressive, really greedy. And now he's only 1 win away from taking this series 2-0.
Will he be the first one to go home with $800 plus and take the 2-0? For you guys who don't know, if you take a 2-1, then you take 700 compared to the 300 to the loser. The loser gets a little bit extra because they won that 1 game. But it is going to be Daybreak for game number 2. Another nice 2-player map, but I think this one should be a little bit more normal. As you said, aLive kind of stealing away that first game and is in a fantastic spot going into this series. Let's jump into game number 2 right now. Maru versus aLive.
Maru, 230. aLive, Haniso.
Here we are on Daybreak, and, well, this guy up in the top right, he wants to strike back. SCV already out on the map.
Immediate SCV. He's frustrated. Oh boy, look at this. Okay, to the bottom left in blue, it's aLive, of course. I believe he sent the second. Yeah, he did. So it's going to be double.
That SCV came out so early.
Yeah.
It's like almost too early, as it looks like he's going to get there maybe a couple seconds too early. But
this is
as you said, he is just frustrated right now.
This is going to get really exciting, too, because this is going to be a little bit further away from the one that we saw from aLive, but super fast first barracks. And we get to see how well Maru defended against this, what he decided to do, how he dealt with the situation, and now we're going to see the reverse. How good is he at executing it, and how well can aLive defend?
Yeah.
So we're going to get to see 2 sides of the coin. And if aLive defends here, I feel like suddenly you can't say he stole the win away. He's just better at this. He won with it and defended against it. So we'll see how this goes. This is pretty exciting.
What is this TVT matchup turning into? We had Maru versus Innovation doing this to each other on the same map. Now these guys trading games where they do the same build to each other.
Yeah, no one is playing it safe and standard. Well, at least not all the time for in general. All right, let's see how he decides to play this. Factory into the Reaper, no doubt.
Cheeky observer.
No immediate tech lab or anything like that. So, or excuse me, reactor. But we'll see what he does right after the first Reaper, because likely Maru will pool the Reapers, just as aLive did in the previous set. He's got the tight wall here, which obviously isn't too helpful in can make it tougher to micro your Reapers, but they just jump up and down anyways. He's going to go ahead and make his wall back at home. And really, we just wait here to see how quickly aLive reacts. Makes a second Reaper, though. He's not going to just do the one.
Yeah.
Rallies it to the low ground.
You were talking about the location. Might seem like a small thing, but actually definitely is pretty big because the factory starts and already a Hellion on the way. The Cyclone was started, I believe, after aLive got into the base in the previous game. But here are the Reapers.
Okay, he's got SCVs out here already. That Mule needs to go home. He does go home. Grenade poorly placed here, and Maru's going to try to target down this Reaper. The second grenade hits his own SCVs, unfortunately, and then Maru's going to have a field day here. Starport canceled. The Hellion
is so important. He's going to kill one Reaper already, trying to get a second. That's going to be two going down.
That's, I mean, that's almost already all he needs. He lost the, he had that second poor grenade, and he lost his, or knocked his SCVs up, but otherwise, he's in a great position now. He's going to have a Cyclone. I mean, Maru didn't even make that push look realistic.
Yeah.
And now
aLive just hit in the last one. He hit like maybe 10 seconds earlier, and sometimes that's all you need. And the choice of going for a Hellion instead of a Cyclone, the Hellion coming out faster and able to defend a lot better. Now you see the Cyclone coming out for aLive.
Early lift on the barracks. The tight wall here back at home not going to stop this from coming in. It could delay the starport. That's exactly what he's going to do. Get that SCV. One more shot. There it goes. Immediately sent in that second one, but he's going to get, looks like 2 kills here probably. Forcing repair anyways. Lost mining time. Paying to lose money with that repair. He's going to do it again here. Nearly gets it. Good control by Maru.
Yeah.
Will kill this Reaper. Back at home, the barracks goes over and scouts. The second barracks is headed home, but aLive has now a massive lead in terms of what units he has on the map and how useful they are. Like 2 Cyclones versus a few Reapers on the ground. He's going to get Cloak. He's going to get it in the face of Maru anyways to force him to make turrets and a Viking.
It's like, here, I'm going Cloak. Will he continue going Cloak is the question. It's canceled and the Raven comes out. The barracks turns around. Maru does scout the Gambit.
Maru has lost so much production time with the barracks in the air. Obviously, he has a late Cyclone. Hellion finds the Reapers, which is so clutch. aLive is playing the best games he's ever played in his career right now. I know Tastos was talking about this last night, but it's really true. I mean, mind you, he just played an entire day of GSL Super Tournament yesterday, went to the finals, ended up losing the finals to Hero, spoiler alert. Mind in a completely different matchup than the 2 he played yesterday, TVZ and TVP. Still looks like a god, deals with that handedly, makes all the right moves. Now he has to defend this push though. He's just got so many units, I can't imagine he loses this. I mean,
yeah, easy defense. Maru, he cannot attack right now. Has to go home.
Meanwhile, oh god. Meanwhile, he's taking damage at his own CC. It stopped. A Reaper stops Maru's CC. Look at the production tab. He's not building. He's not building that CC back at home. Now, the Observer hasn't even realized it, but I see it. Maru's not even building the CC.
You can see the confidence from aLive, too. He knows he has the advantage in units. Immediately pushes out across the map. Finally, that CC begins, or re-begins, building.
Yeah, he wants to get it so he can at least lift it and get it out of there if he wants to finish it. Gets a Widowmine up here. aLive needs to be careful about overcommitting. Widowmine ready to fire, but he's got the Raven. He's trying to out-micro it, and he will! Down it goes!
Oh boy. That Raven, it looks like it's going to go on a bit of a suicide mission. That's really close to death. Down it goes. No auto turrets come down. That's a pretty nice win in that small little micro battle for Maru.
Absolutely. He keeps the CC alive. It finishes, he starts a third because he realizes how behind he is. He wants to take a bigger risk. He's going to continue to use these Reapers to put pressure on. He's not out of this game by any means. aLive has a second Raven now going to harass, kills an SCV, stopping mining here in the main base. He's just one step ahead of Maru. Let's see if these Reapers can find any targets here. Already the majority of aLive's units have arrived back at home. Losing these won't be the end of the world for Maru. Oh, blind jump. 1, 2, 3 should go down.
Close. 12 health. Tank.
One shot will do it. There you go.
Yeah, boom.
Not a good time to be a Maru fan right now in this game, but he does have that third CC. He does have that going for him.
I'd say overall he's not in a terrible position now after the hold and taking out the Raven, a very expensive unit, as long as he doesn't move across the map and do anything rash. They should just defend, try to perhaps get back in the game with some drops. But as you mentioned, that third CC is really nice. And it looks like aLive, on the other hand, is just gearing up for a very strong attack with no third CC anywhere in sight.
Yeah, he just wants to take the tempo advantage he's gained in this game and swing the hammer hard. The risk in this, of course, is that Maru will, you know, be massively ahead if he defends. It's not going to be an easy defense, but he's doing all the right things. He's masked up Vikings, which is always the key to stopping pushes like this, is to slow it down with your air control. He also has the siege tanks coming up. If this flies right into the Vikings,
directly towards the Vikings,
this could be disastrous.
It's a direct path right to the Vikings.
Here they come.
The boost on in, and he will be able to get away.
Super important that he had that reaction. I wants to save this medevac though. Ooh,
he's gonna lock on, but yeah, we'll lose one medevac. Another small win for Maru.
Yeah, these small wins for Maru are how he wins the game. He takes these small advantages, he survives, and then he eventually has this 3-base economy. He's already caught up in workers. He's past him. He's 2 workers ahead right now. He's going to kill this Raven. And yes, he's massively behind an army, but that will change soon. He's got 2 more barracks coming up. Stim, the 1-1 versus just the +1 attack of aLive. Even going to shut down this third CC. This game is not won by any means for aLive. He doesn't have a push coming across the map yet. Now he does. He's got it settled up.
Yeah, this is the scary push. And Daybreak, another pretty big 2-player map. So it will take a while for him to get over there. The air control is going to be very important. Right now, aLive has no Vikings, no Ravens, compared to the 4 Vikings, 2 Ravens of Maru, and equal tanks, 3-3. Much higher Marine number, of course, but it's really going to come down to the tank positioning and control. If Maru can control the top of his ramp here, he should be in a pretty good spot with the air control.
Yeah, that's the key. You know, it all goes down to that air control. Now, a few scans and also the medevac vision that aLive has can allow him to get into position, though. Let's see if he goes for it. Doesn't guard up that ramp. The 2 siege tanks here are too scary. He sees them with the scan. He may just try to brute force his way into the main base, though. That's another option he has with 5 medevacs.
Yeah, and you can see a sensor tower coming down.
This scan is somewhat misleading, actually, for Maru to see no third CC. It's actually still being built. But yeah, the sensor tower, I mean, he's leaving no holds barred in terms of the defense. Okay, it scans again. He's like, I have more CCs than you, so I can probably just keep scanning. Finally sees that third CC, and is probably going to feel like, okay, this is not, there's no hidden units anywhere. It's actually just about all he's got right here at the front. Sensor tower spots everything. aLive had this window of time to make this happen. He didn't, but he has his own combat shields coming up now. His +1 armor is going to finish before Maru could really start both 2-2 upgrades with the armory. So this game is actually going to kind of even out. And aLive will have his third CC landed first with a slight SCV deficit. So this game, really close.
Yeah.
Anyone's game at this point.
I used to talk about a lot of the times, you know, win conditions. What does a player have to do to win? But Maru really correctly identified in what ways he could have lost this game. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to defend against that. You know, get the air control, make sure he can't doom drop my main. Get the sensor tower, make sure he can't do that. But I love what aLive is doing here. He says, okay, I've taken my third base, and if I can deny yours for a long time, that's going to be a big win for me.
He also, despite having no air control, just consistently scans and gets the better trades here. It almost feels like these Vikings were worthless in the beginning of this exchange.
Well, the Ravens did so much work, though. They took out 2 tanks, another third one on the run, and will go down. Yep. So a big win there for Maru, as now he's going to take his third base.
But again, aLive had his third up first. He delayed the third base from Maru. He got a decent exchange with the first part until the Ravens came in, as you said. So this is still a big win for him. He's got his own sensor tower set up as well to defend. He may try to doom drop here. He's really aggressively scanning, setting up here, looking for the angle. You know, he has the larger Marine count slightly and the more medevacs, but still really risky with the positioning of Maru here. I feel like he shouldn't really look to attack at this moment in time.
He's trying to fake him out, you know, keep some units in the 1 sensor tower that was in the main, and then send the majority of your army towards the third. But Maru sets up a 2nd sensor tower at the 3rd base and says, okay, you're just not going to attack me. It's not happening.
Oh, this is really tricky. I feel like it's risky. Maru's actually already setting up in the main.
He's going to keep the Vikings there, very importantly. So any kind of doom drop will definitely be defended. A scan comes down and scouts the army, so no way you're flying all your medevacs into that army.
The one thing that aLive is not doing at all It's actually Maru's, or excuse me, aLive center. That would be crazy. The one thing he's not doing is building an air army at all. So is he going to try to bait these Vikings into Marines? I don't think that's going to be very successful. He's really playing with fire here. Both players forced to scan repeatedly. Maru's going to take a 4th CC. He needs to somehow eventually respond to the lack of air control. Unless he's just going to rely on scans and brute force his way in, which can work. It's very difficult to pull off. Maru, a full set of upgrades ahead in 12 seconds, by the way. And that is massive with the Marine counts we're looking at, 67, 47. That's applied so many times.
aLive setting up a very interesting kind of super soft contain. I wouldn't even call this a soft contain. He's just like sitting down here saying, okay, well, you're not going to take your 4th for a bit here at least while I take my 4th, but the CC actually started ahead for Maru.
This is really interesting now. Maru's going to go for a big drop. There's center towers everywhere. He looks. He was like, oh, okay, he's got center in the main. Sends up to the north here. He's like, oh, okay, now he's got a center tower at the 3rd. It's going to be tough for Maru to do something that aLive isn't aware of, which is why he's able to be so aggressively positioned here. But eventually he will be pushed back. Sensor towers don't give vision, they only give realization that there are units there. So this Viking and Raven Force with now Liberators will push this back. This cannot last much longer at all.
Oh, the auto turret's coming on down, trying to chunk down those tanks. He's not able to take out any of them, but actually shelling, forcing those Marines to move forward to defend. And look at this nice little 3 medevac drop coming up there. He says, okay, I can't take my 4th, but I will try to get some harassment damage somewhere on the map.
Oh, he's going to try to brute force this, it looks like. Scans, stims, and goes through. 3 siege tanks set up here. I don't know if this is going to be enough. 1 more siege tank coming down here for Maru, but the Marines do penetrate, and now he's going to stop these SCVs.
Oh, man, the SCVs running to their death, trying to delay. Maru does get a little bit of harassment damage at the 4th base of aLive, but he loses this fight at his 3rd in a huge way.
He's going to get more done, I feel like, at the 3rd base of aLive, though. aLive still doesn't have any units here at all, and so it's going to be basically a base and a half for almost a base as he now moves forward here with these tanks on siege. He's hitting the main in the middle, but there's more sieged up units here for Maru. Maru's doing a massive amount of damage over at the 3rd base. He saved this CC, whereas his is not saved. So aLive takes a huge lead here. Or excuse me, Maru takes a huge lead here.
It's a pretty interesting spot. I feel like, taking out those CCs is definitely very huge. Once Maru gets this back online, he will have a huge, push-up in his economy, and even the upgrades ahead here for Maru. But aLive able to float his main over to the 3rd, so we're going to be pretty even for a bit, but Maru definitely takes back the map control at this point in time.
Absolutely. The one thing that aLive has going for him is his siege tank count. He's nearly double the siege tanks of Maru. However, Maru has vision, so it's very difficult for him to use these tanks. He's finally starting to produce air units. He's got 2 Vikings out. Needs a lot more than that. He's going to have his 3-3 here. Can you check, does Maru actually have both 3s? Yeah, he does.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's going to be even on upgrades with this finishing, except the +2 that the tanks of Maru will have, a smaller count of them. This is super aggressive with the Vikings. Finds this army, though. Maru would be wise to turn around, as this base is going to be moved as well. Ooh, this is really greedy by Maru to actually commit in here. Does not have enough Marines here.
Trying to boost away, but he takes a lot of losses on the retreat. And now Vikings will be able to hunt down these medevacs that will try to drop up towards the top right. aLive really wants to shut this down.
It gets a 1 medevac, unfortunately, and no Marines in it. Maru having this CC moved over now. Critically, there are only 2 orbital commands on the map for aLive. Maru has several, so when his bases mine out, he can continue to move those forward, whereas aLive is down on mules.
2 to 3, or no, 2 to 4 once that command center does turn into an orbital at the 4th of Maru.
It's kind of planetary to even. It's not taking any chances.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 CCs, 3 orbitals to the 2, which is an economic advantage and SCV production advantage as well, as when that becomes necessary again, if it becomes necessary again in this game. aLive moving his way around the right side here. He's got a lot of medevacs. He's going to try to find another hole in Maru's armor to brute force his way in. He might actually just go behind this base, try to catch these Marines. That's exactly what he's going to do. Siege is up here, but he doesn't have that vision. Still catches the tank and just slides right past
slipping on down to the third base. Will take out that orbital very easily.
Oh, slippery as a snake here, scanning to retain vision. The Liberators push this back, though.
Gonna take out, it looks like, maybe 2 or 3 tanks. And now what about these Marines? They need to get out of there.
It's tough to get out, though, with these Liberators and Vikings on the chase. He's going to commit to stimming underneath them, though. He is just trying to outmaneuver Maru's army, but it's not working this time. He will just barely get out with the last part of those Marines. But he killed that base, forcing less mining here again.
Now Maru wants to go on the attack. Needs to heal up those Marines right now. A lot of aLive's Marines and tanks are very, very low.
He wants to siege up here, but it's so difficult to do so. Now finally gets the opportunity. He sieges up, stims his Marines here, but he does not have enough. Maru gets the siege as well. Maru getting an excellent trade here. And part of this again comes to the vision, and also now the pressure that the Liberators have to just blow these tanks up instantly. The extra orbitals we talked about. Maru just replaces his third base with another orbital, this time from the natural.
Look at aLive. He's going for a big doom drop into the main. He's like, okay, immediate decision out of this guy. I love his just, movements on the map. And he's going to find 2 of these Liberators and get on top of that production.
Okay.
Maru, in the meantime, comes into the fourth base.
He can't really leave very easily because Maru has those Vikings, but Maru isn't doing that much counter-wise. This is doing way more damage than Maru's doing. And aLive is going to kill all the production here. This gets shut down on the other side of the map. Has aLive turned this game on its head? It's going to be tough, like I said, to get out of here. Oh, running into the turrets. Looks like these units are going to be trapped here. At least the majority of them. He boosts away. The Vikings not in position in time. aLive gets out. Now, he's still behind in terms of units and what's on the map, but that was a crazy amount of damage. Now he needs to defend. He needs to defend and use what he has in terms of production advantage here.
It's all about defense now, as a big hit to the production of Maru for sure. But a much bigger army and a better economy right now for the Red Terran player.
8 tanks to none. aLive has the more mobile army. He has 64 Marines on the map, and he's going to use that ability. Well, unless he gets caught. This time gets caught by the Vikings.
Okay, I mean, that might just be the nail in the coffin. As you said, he had to be mobile, had to find damage. Maru reads it with the Viking position. And I feel like aLive at this point just desperately trying to find a hole in the armor, whereas Maru, he just wants to come in and put an end to his misery.
All right, he's going to find this orbital and several SCVs here, but again, this doesn't solve the problem of his army being too small. Loses a huge chunk of Marines, and GG. We are going to a Game 3. Maru making every right choice after getting shut down with the proxy, taking all the right risks. You said it best when you said basically just plugging all the holes. What ways could I lose this game right now? Perhaps he just loses it because he played safe. If aLive plays super greedy, takes more bases, ups up the tech, but that's not aLive's style. Maru identifies this, just plays greedy in terms of econ, but safe and protecting it. Gets ahead in economy, aLive doesn't find any damage, has a late third base, and Maru controls the air the entire game, which I think was really, at the end of the day, what won him that game, especially when he was able to finally shut down those drops with his Vikings.
What a sick game that was. Maru able to come back from a crazy deficit. The failed proxy got shut down so hard. And then we went into a very, very late game there. Lots of bases being taken out. Very, very even. And Maru saying, hey, even from behind, I can compete with one of the best Terrans in the world. Really makes a case for himself that he definitely has a chance here to take this best of 3 against aLive.
All right, we're going into Newkirk Precinct, 2-player map. Anything could happen here as we go into game number 3.
Maru, Ro.4. Hola, Haniso.
Here we are on Newkirk, down in the bottom left. The Terran that fought from behind in Game 2. And came back to win it. It is Maru from the Jin Air Green Wings.
His opponent down here, the bottom right in blue. It is aLive. Had that solid defense, but could not seal the deal in that last game. You know, you still have to give him big props and credit for how many times he was still able to break through, find weaknesses in Maru's positioning, knowing the siege tank range so well. That one slip through where he ran past the 4th base setup and hit the 3rd just before the tanks were positioned, just before the siege up, right under Maru's nose, got through there, sniped the orbital. Moves like that, despite actually costing him big, is really impressive. This the understanding of the game that this guy has right now, how much he's playing, how many tournaments he's succeeding in, traveling. He's also streaming. I mean, he's really breaking down the walls of what the limits are for a player who's playing in so many different tournaments, and it's still performing very, very well now in a third matchup to the ones he played yesterday.
He's so fast and aggressive too. I love how once he took that fight towards his fourth base, third base area. By the way, I have so many foreign fans here in the studio for you guys who are tuning in late. But I love how he lost that fight with his tanks, and he's like, okay, I need to drop right now. And he picked up everything and went straight into the main and hit the production. Didn't end up working. It didn't end up working out in the end, for sure.
Better shot of those Westerners, by the way.
Yeah, so many of them. Thanks for coming down, guys. It's been fun so far. Really good games. You actually chose a fantastic day.
Yes, one of our best days by far.
Yeah.
This is the matchup I was looking forward to. It has not disappointed.
Yeah, aLive is just like so fast, so aggressive. And I like how Maru just took a step back in game 2. He's like, okay, if I just defend and just try to plug all the holes and just make sure I don't take that much damage and slowly come back in the longer game, maybe I can take this one. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him use a similar strategy here in game 3.
Yeah. I mean, Maru's always been the better macro player. aLive has really stepped it up recently in that regard, which you were talking about earlier tonight, because he was known as kind of a cheesy player, super aggressive. When you look at his play back in the GSL Open seasons, he was very similar to GSL Terran finalist Rain, with the 1-1-1 builds, the Raven, tank pushes, and things like that. Aggressive Hellion all-ins, double reactor Hellion.
I think those guys are pretty good friends, actually,
yeah,
too.
they are.
So.
And they played very similar styles. We saw him Hellbat drops, Heart of the Swarm, Hellbat Marauder pushes, things like that. It was very cheesy. Found most of his success from that. But now suddenly he's got good macro. He's very aggressive. His micro, especially, as we were watching yesterday, with how technical he is. He's like, I'm going to make sure every Marauder hits every Baneling the most efficient way while also macroing at home. It's really incredible to watch. He's stepped up his mechanics further than we've ever seen him before. And yes, he did win an IPL. It was a long time ago, but he's got his best chance right now in his career, I feel, to win a domestic tournament here in Korea.
He definitely does. I think that this could be the one. Trying to come on in here and snipe a mule will do so. Nice little snipe there from Maru.
Yeah. We'll get over and get caught, though, unfortunately, but I feel like a decent trade there from Maru regardless. Obviously, killing an SCB is a more long-term retribution than killing a mule, but the short-term, especially in the early game, is super important. Losing that Reaper is painful, but regardless, he's got a good setup here. There's no way that anything is getting up that ramp right now. No way.
The border guard, man. No one's getting past
a battle
there.
cruiser couldn't get up that ramp right now.
These Hellions, they want citizenship into Maru's forces, but I think they're going to be denied if they try to go up that ramp. Third base has started here, third CC, I should say, in the main for Maru.
Very discriminatory base, this one, allowing the Hellions and the Reapers in. Look, those Marines are ex-con too. Let's just admit it. Okay, it's in the lore. I didn't read the novels, but that's what the StarCraft Wikia tells me, anyways. So, it's a siege tank here as well. Very impenetrable base as Maru takes a third base behind all this. This time, aLive is going to commit to the Vikings, though. He's going to commit to the air control. In fact, we've seen, we saw at the end of Pro League actually a lot of play like this with a double Viking reactored out to gain air control, shut down Ravens, for example, and drops to come across the map. Usually used on maps like this, like Arena as well, where you'd have, really close by air distance access. We saw on habitation stations sometimes as well back in the day. Gonna come over here, try to camp the starport, see what he can find, because he knows that there's no way Maru, realistically, unless he's doing the exact same build, has two Vikings, so he's kind of free to do so. He's really aggressively moving across the map with these tanks now, as well as he takes his own third CC on the low ground. Does not want to get locked on by this Cyclone, though. Oh, this is going to get weird.
These two forces meeting in the middle of the map. That one tank can't really be left alone. This Hellion squeaks by.
Okay, high ground control here for aLive. Hellion will get shut down. Did not see the third CC, but he can reasonably assume, oh, he's going to see it now. Well, not quite, I guess. Nearly saw it. Yeah. Cyclone gets the lock on, but he should get away.
4 Vikings to 0 right now. That
Yeah.
one Raven of Maru needs to just hide in the back left corner and say, okay, I'm not coming out.
Can you check for me? Does Maru have stim?
Nope.
I don't think he does, right? Yeah.
No.
So he's
No
really
stim.
late on that compared to aLive. So I've had just basically the really strong tech in terms of army versus army. And with this CC on the low ground, despite the fact that it's a little bit later, it's going to mine better, faster. He's really just going to be a little bit behind in terms of like a mule deployment. But he has 1-1 upgrades coming up first. And he also has currently the better SCV count. He's up by 5. And he still has air control. He's like a little bit ahead in every way. This game is not like massively in his favor or anything like that, but it's the onus is now on Maru to find a way back into this game, because if things just continue as the status quo in this game, aLive, the lead he has, the small lead he has, snowballs into a much larger lead.
I feel like when you get on big maps like Newkirk, you don't really see too much early on, and both the players kind of just macro up. It's really just who's going to get the slight advantage going into the mid game, and so far we've identified that as aLive. I do think that is correct. And you can see he's trying to push out, do a little bit of poke damage, trying to eke out a even bigger lead, ever so slightly, but not really much going to happen. And I think we're just going to sit back here for a little bit as these guys macro up and see who can, you know, get to that later game stage in a better spot.
This scan here, for aLive, he's looking for another angle because he knows he has that air control. I think he's going to try to pick off some of these tanks. Wants to starter step this one down. He does finally get it. He's looking for an angle on these 2 tanks where he can come up on the high ground and use that vision that he has with his Vikings to pick them off and push forward. Notice immediately Maru scans afterwards. He's like, uh-oh, is he going to do his big stim run by again after he scans? I'm worried. Misses the army. Sensor tower goes up, though. And Maru is doing what aLive did not do in the previous set and identified he's behind in air, hides his, doesn't allow it to be picked off or anything like that, and is going to catch up. So we're going to be even in terms of Viking counts fairly soon here. He's really, really trying to force this to work. Another scan goes down. It's going to be tough to actually make this happen. He can skiv right underneath the line of sight block, or the
right at
tower.
the bottom. But you can see there is a setup here for Maru. Bunch of Marines, 2 missile turrets too. And is that Marine actually going to spot this? I think it does.
It does. That is so unfortunate.
He targets it. He knows it's coming. Scan
Vikings
comes
are ready.
down. Yep.
Cannot even commit.
Not
Marine,
coming in.
Marine gets out too. He's like, ha ha.
He did his job. He's getting an award for that.
Well, I don't know if this is a bad rally or what, but he does not want to be doing this.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a free tank. And that poor Marine that was escorting the tank.
Okay, Maru was, slightly behind, but I think this was really going to a pretty dead even game. Again, he has the faster combat shields, the +1 for siege tanks. The 2-2 upgrades are coming faster. He starts his 3rd CC faster, things like this. But aLive trying to take this lead into a bigger one by going for a drop, finding an angle with his air control, but he's lost air control now. Drop didn't work, and Maru is just hanging on. And as this game goes longer and longer, obviously, as we approach late game, eventually they're both going to be maxed out, and the slight lead that aLive has now isn't going to matter if he can't capitalize on it right now. So, Maru in a pretty good spot, all things considered, because his defense is so tight and so difficult to attack in this matchup, even with a slight lead like this one.
Very curious to see how those 2 Ravens of Maru that he got earlier on, in the trade-off for the lesser tech earlier on. We saw the 1-1 coming out earlier, the upgrades, the stim, combat shields coming earlier out of aLive, but he still has those Ravens that have built up so much energy. So if it comes down to an air fight, PDDs are going to make it much easier for Maru to win that trade. He also has an option to harass with them. I don't think he really should. I think you want to save those turrets for the actual fight.
Yeah, I think that's really what we're going to see. If he doesn't use the PDDs, the turrets will come down and help buffer for these siege tanks. aLive is really looking for an angle here. Oh, if he identifies this, he can siege up first, and he does. Only gets a few Marines there, but that could have been much worse. Good reaction by Maru. aLive wants more, though. He's stemming forward here. Wants that watchtower, and he will find it. Nicely done. Going to remove a lot of the vision control here. As he has a 4th base, Maru does not. That slight edge, it's going to be a planetary. 3-3 upgrades started faster for him. The +2 tank upgrades faster as well. Looking for this angle here. Sensor tower going to be replaced in just a second. And a good scan here by Maru. Pushes the Marines back. And this is that air control coming into play with the Vikings. Remember, guys, siege tanks shoot further than they see. So if you have the Vikings there, you can win a trade even if your opponent has like better range than you. You can see his tanks and blow them up first.
Yeah. And you were talking about aLive's general understanding of the macro aspects of StarCraft 2 recently. I love what he's doing, setting up that big just pressure point at the 4th base location for Maru, saying, okay, you're not taking this, and I'm going to take a 5th base, because he has total map control. He knows that the bases are behind for Maru. He's going to get very far ahead. He doesn't stay for long because he knows that if he does, you know, it's only half of his army there that will be broken, and then he's at risk of a counterattack. But because he just moves there for like 30 seconds, sieges it up, says, okay, no 4th base for you, moves back immediately, keeps his whole army alive. Now he's like 2 bases up on Maru, and he's going to have a really nice lead because of it.
Look at the bank. He's already building it, as you're saying, and you know, it's the best defense is a good offense type idea. And in this matchup, you don't see a lot of harassment, right? You can see a few Marine drops. Well, he's made a planetary at his most vulnerable base. That's why he feels safe with this. He's looks to commit here. The Marines are not nearby, but he's attacking right into the siege tanks. He just wants to brute force his way through here, and it may work. He's got a good siege up here at the back. He's going to pull away. And the trade is absolutely his. And remember, he knows he has the better economy. Nice. He knows he can replace his army faster.
Really, really nice engagement there. He doesn't stay, too. He's like, okay, I took the good trade, I back off. I have better production, I have better economy. He's going to make 2 extra CCs in the main, because why not? He's got a massive bank. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes even more. Now he's looking for a potential killing blow, looking for a death drop into the main.
This is risky. Although he avoids detection, and he has a few Vikings down here. Those Vikings have basically been just sitting here all game long for drop defense. This is the risky thing. Those are not Vikings, though, that sees this. It's Medivacs. He doesn't have any units here. He's only got a few turrets. This is the big Doom drop. aLive wants the killing blow, as you said. He can siege up here, and that he does.
What a huge position for him to get into the main. No mining, first of all, at this base. Now the production is being sieged. He gets underneath the Liberators, one of the main key units, and, you know, parts of Maru's army. The air control
3-3 is not done.
Taken out.
3+3 armor is denied. Attack could be denied as well. Still researching.
The 2 Ravens, I asked the question, well, what are they going to do in this game? That's what they did. They killed like 1 tank, and that's about it.
Okay, it looks like he's going to get the attack at least on the upgrade, a consolation prize for this disaster in the main.
Oh, kill that eBay, please.
So close.
Kill it.
I think he's going to let it go. He stopped the armor, which is significant in itself.
Oh, man.
Maru looks defeated in terms of unit positioning here as well. +3 finishes. He targets it down now. It's a bit too late.
Yeah.
Look at the control of the economy that aLive has. Look at his bank. Might as well make a bunch of extra factories at this point and some more barracks to spend that money in a rare scenario where this far ahead in economy in this matchup. He's also killed a lot of the infrastructure here in the main base, which is forcing Maru to spend money replacing it. Going to kill another barracks, going to kill another CC almost here. Looks like it's just barely lifted and repaired in time. Maru has no presence on the map. He only has 4 medevacs. Can't really drop. He needs every unit hit that he can. He's going to finally push this back. By the time it's all killed, aLive can replace it. So it doesn't matter that he kills us and wipes us out. aLive's still going to make it very cost efficient. This is the kind of play I'm talking about when with his harass. He's super technical. He doesn't go, oh, okay, I'll leave these tanks there, deal with it later. He's making removing these tanks such a pain for Maru while still maintaining map control, still scanning, still roaming across the map with these Marines to look for a weak point. This isn't it, though. The siege tanks are set up here for Maru.
He's stimming on in, and he is not going to win that fight. Maru, nice positioning there. aLive kind of just running into that one. Bit of a mistake, but he's, you know, he's still looking for the holes, still making this, he's keeping this 1 drop of Marines here even. Now, I think this might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, I like just
he's going to snipe a tank as I say that.
I like retreating with the medevacs. 2 tanks. Vikings still don't deal with this. Medevacs looks like they will be shut down, but...
Oh, man.
Maru has a bigger army, but this is a huge map, and he can't find a window to use it. And every time they take at least close to even trade, it's massively in aLive's favor of the bank he has.
And he thought he was done with that harass in the main, the Doom drops. Well, he's not. He's got another one coming. It looks like only Marines this time, but that's 6 medevacs worth of Marines. 7 medevacs in total.
Maru is down to 2 factories. And how many barracks does he have? 0?
I'm
not seeing any on the
Yeah, it just doesn't get all the buildings.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still producing Marines, but not a whole lot comparatively. 5 now to the max out every time for aLive.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's all his barracks down here.
I
No
love-
more on the main base though.
Yeah, I love how he's coming in here with only Marines this time. He keeps his tanks at home. And just the expendable Marines that he's not even going to lose, and they're so mobile too in the medevacs. They come on in, snipe the rest of the production that was there, and now he backs off. You can see he might be transitioning into something like battle cruisers, like 3 starports on the way. So definitely opening up all potential paths here as we go into pretty late game, to 17 minutes.
Yeah,
in the Legacy of the Void game.
It's really tough to finish people off in this matchup. That's why, he's still alive here, but no pun intended. Maru, let's not forget, in the late game has normally been really good at harassing. He has a Marine deficit. He only has 4 medevacs, so it's tough for him to even find ways to do that. There's a sensor tower on the map. But, he's got wrist problems as well, and he's having trouble right now in this late game where aLive is just constantly harassing him. He can't find any windows. He is the one who has 3 sensor towers, 4 sensor towers on the map. aLive only has 1, but he only has 4 medevacs. He's too scared to use them to harass because if he loses any more units, he can't replace them. He doesn't have a good economy, and aLive just snaps his back if he does. If he loses too many units, it's too risky to move out. So he's just being choked out here, little by little. In this game, as aLive is not building anything, he's not producing anything because he's maxed out. He barely can. He's up plating. He's going to make a few more siege tanks here. Looking for another drop in the main. And
there's nothing in the main. He's going to go in there and be like, oh, okay. But he's looking for that production. If it was remade here, yeah, it has actually at the natural. So he's going to come on into the natural and try to take out that production. Looks like Maru is coming back at this point in time, but that is still a big drop.
Okay, he's going to leave a lot of the Marines here. He's just going to try to trade with them because he has this massive bank and retreat with his medevacs. Now, those starports that you identified earlier are being used purely for Vikings. aLive needs to get producing those. Production tab is blank right now.
He's not making anything with a huge bank.
He has a huge bank, and he was making a lot of Vikings. Look, he's microing really hard right now. But
he needs to make stuff.
Yeah, like Maru has...
make stuff, please, okay.
Maru is ahead in supply, by the way. So it doesn't matter how much money aLive doesn't spend. It's about the money he uses to spend to get ahead.
Gets that production cycle going.
16
but that's
Marines at a time.
That's like almost a fully missed production cycle there from aLive, if not more.
If Maru could realize this moment and push across to just overwhelm him. Look, even these medevacs are going down. This is a very strange late game here. Now he was hitting the beat with the macro, but Maru's going to try to take this window. And this is his moment. This is how he wins this game. Taking this small, tiny window he has, 16 Marines at a time, 21 Marines at a time, coming out here for aLive. Sieging up first here. He has the air control, or does he? He's moving forward to the Vikings. He does have.
aLive moving into that tank line, trying to just take out as many tanks as possible. But now there's no defense for the tanks of his own. Maru's moving in. He's going to wipe out all of the tanks on the ground.
Okay, he's winning the kiting battle here with the Vikings. He's got a lot more Marines coming out. Needs to win the fight here when there's without tanks somehow. 9 tanks to 2. Needs to buy time. I feel like taking an engagement here is unnecessary. He has the larger bank. He can just defend, buy time with these Vikings, poke Maru's Vikings, get more cycles of Marines out, get more cycles of tanks out. 4 Liberators on the way. Spend that money, aLive. You've got infinity of it.
Well, some of the mistakes that he made there where he was just not making stuff and microing too much. Now he's going to try to come on in and snipe a tank. Is going to fail in doing so. But finally, he's using that bank to max out. And he will eventually have the bigger army, but Maru trying desperately to come on in here.
Oh, Maru can't be taking trades like this. He doesn't have the money to do so. Gonna siege or unsiege and back away.
Yeah,
they lose
air
1
control
tank.
right now to aLive. So he will immediately take back that position.
Finally, these medevacs return. They're going to be useful in healing all these Marines that were bruised earlier. Again, the bank is a problem here. 2 Thors being made for Maru right now as well as he's trying to somehow miraculously take back air control. This is going to be a tough position for aLive to engage into, though. He's going to wait. He's going to let his Liberators do the damage to the Marines before he engages in. But the tanks are in too good position. aLive may just have to give this position up. He's down on tanks. He can't engage into this choke point. He knows it. He gives the CC away. Maru is trying to fight his way back into a nearly 100% lost game. We're talking 6.5k, 3,000 bank to no bank. aLive misses production cycles, miscontrols his units. Maru takes these small, tiny edges, despite being down in air control, is outmaneuvering Maru, or outmaneuvering aLive. I'm losing my words here as this game is so close. Scan here, he sees this tank is alone, should remove it, no problem. He's losing some SCVs, but the Liberator will wipe this off. Okay, a few more tanks actually coming up here alone.
Not sure about this one. Oh boy.
Disjointed by Maru for sure.
Yeah.
Liberator's in good position here, going to get a few more kills.
If he focuses them down, okay. He's trying to, not the best focus fire there. Some mistakes made by both players as we are in 21.5 minutes into this very long Legacy of the Void game. Stimming in now is Maru trying to snipe out another Liberator. Trying to get into position to deny the mining at any base that he can.
Yeah, he has that base to the top left as well. He's still got a healthy SCV count. Looks like aLive may just try to circumvent this because he knows, okay, I can't break this siege tank count. You have more tanks than me, 11-6. I cannot break this. You're in a good position. He's going to use the maneuverability that his army has. He has the larger Marine count, 91-35. He has the mobile army. He's going to avoid this completely. Come over here. He says, okay, you have more tanks, but they're immobile. He's going to go in here while the tanks are on siege. He catches them on siege. This should be game. Gets almost every single one of them here. Retreats back. And that is going to be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Finally aLive has done it.
aLive pulling a Ryung there, doing it tomorrow just like Ryung did back in the GSL. And, well, that's pretty huge. There's only 2 tanks left over. He's going to stim on in. And that huge Marine count should be enough. Trying to focus down that planetary now, will take it out. In come the tanks of aLive to support as he tries to take Maru out of this game.
Massive scans. He identifies how ahead he is here. This game is certainly over. And he's on the victory march now. Maru made this series a lot closer than I thought it would be. But at the end, it is aLive who is victorious. And
props to him, staying in these games for so long, making it really hard for aLive.
Game 2 and Game 3, very impressive by Maru. Absolute finesse in terms of what to do while behind. A lot of lessons learned, I think, for many Terrans watching this of when you feel like it's over, when you feel like giving up, don't, because there are certainly ways back into these games. Here's the final battle here, the massive siege up. We should see the type out here.
Thor.
Hands off the keyboard.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Nice fight. He's trying to drop on in here, but Marines of aLive will be able to. GG is called, and aLive takes the best of 3 with a 2-1 victory.
Absolute great game. Knocks his glasses off there. Absolute great game there for aLive. Choking Maru out in one of the most technical TVTs we've ever seen. A few mistakes with production cycles there at the late game, which almost allowed Maru back into the game.
Almost cost him that game, man.
But as it turns out, if you can make 21 Marines a cycle, you catch back up real quick. Biel coming in here. What a beautiful series.
aLive has got to be pretty exhausted after that one. He played so many games yesterday and then came on in today, and Maru just made it so hard. I want to point out that another part of this TVT series was it really highlights how important initiative and being active on the map is in the TVT, because aLive, he got so many big advantages just because of little small moves that he was making with his army to get ahead very much in the economy, whereas Maru was just a super passive guy staying back, defending. aLive almost threw it away by being like too active and getting too aggressive, but at the end of the day, his activity on the map and using his map control to, you know, win that big map really was what won him the best of 3 in the end.
Absolutely. He had full control every single moment. We're going to take a bit of a longer break, guys, before we go into SOS versus Biel. After that incredible series, go get a soda, take a break. We'll be right back.